What do you mean you won't be finished by Friday?
I was just trying to be thorough, and I guess it seemed to me that...
Seemed to you? Seemed to you? Seems to me you better get off.
Who's the new writer?
About to become the old writer. That's who.
Sonia, when I see a play like that, I'd give anything to be an actor.
And when I see your work, I want to be a writer.
Oh, no, you don't. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them.
Oh.
Sonia, if I were an actor, I would have played my part, enjoyed the applause, and gone home to dinner. As it is, I'm just getting started.
Just getting started? What did you do all day?
Well, I worked. Rather, I sat here alone and tried to work. This chapter's not going well, Sonia.
What's it about?
Nouns and verbs.
Oh, nouns and verbs covers just about everything.
I can't pull them together.
Oh, you worry too much.
Mr. Edwards almost canceled my contract.
Arthur, that's serious.
I know. I'm afraid it's... No. No, I can't let that happen.
What?
Writers... I can't even say it.
Oh, writer's what, Arthur?
Writer's block.
Writer's... What is writer's block?
Oh, it's what every writer fears most. If you have a block, you can't write. You're stuck, doomed, spinning your wheels.
Oh. Arthur, I know what.
What?
You want to be an actor. I'll be your audience.
What are you talking about?
Do nouns and verbs.
Oh, Sonia, come on.
Please.
It's late. I don't...
Please, no, it will help me.
All right, if it'll help you. Here's my prop. Sentences are made up of nouns and verbs. The verb makes things happen in a sentence. It indicates action. The noun does the acting in a sentence. An actor, that's a noun. Acts, that's a verb. The author, a noun, writes a verb. A noun may also be acted upon. An actor acts on a stage, a noun. The author writes a book, a noun. Noun. Oh, thou noble things of life, how large thy family is. You're common, you're proper, you're collective, you're compound. You pose as subjects, as objects, moved around hither and yon by those rascal verbs. You tell me now that you're a person, place, or thing, but what does it all mean?
I wondered that, too.
What?
What does it all mean?
Oh, well, come on over here and I'll show you. A noun names a person, place, thing, or an idea. Now, nouns may be proper names like Sonia or United States. Those are capitalized. Other nouns are common nouns and are not capitalized. Desk, friendship.
I'm glad I'm a proper noun.
Sonia, thank you.
How about some coffee, huh?
Great.
Oh, here's a review of another play I want to see with Arthur. Noun, noun, verb. Wow, concrete, abstract.
Must be a strange review.
Oh, no, I was just seeing if I could identify some of those different classes of nouns that Arthur was talking about last night.
Oh, sounds like a good way to practice your English.
Yeah. Oh, lady and city are both concrete nouns because you can see and touch them. Musical comedy is a compound noun because it's made of two different words. Audience is a collective noun because it means more than one person. Professor Higgins is a person's name, and since it is a proper noun, it is capitalized. Ooh, pride is an abstract noun because you cannot see or touch it.
I believe you've mastered nouns.
As important to writing as they are, nouns do not a language make. In fact, if it weren't for verbs, the language would be made up of nouns with nothing to do. Verbs express action, and when action happens. I write, I wrote, I have written, I will write. Thank goodness. Verbs also express a state of being. I am thoughtful. That's a state of being. I am a writer. It's the same. My writer's block is over. My publisher appears angry. This chapter seems too long to finish by Friday. We also have verbs that help other verbs express their meaning. In the sentence, Sonia has gone home, which verb specifies the action? Gone, right? Has is the helping verb. What are the helping verbs in these sentences? Sonia is going home. Sonia had gone home. Sonia will have been going home. Is, had, will have been. Now, look carefully at this common error. What is the problem with this sentence? You should have done that yesterday. A lot of people make that mistake. Of is not a verb. Never has been, never will be. But just because it sounds like have, people like to use it as one. You should have done that yesterday. How you use a verb and what form it takes depends on the time element or the tense in your sentence. Is it past, present, or future? Did it happen yesterday, today, or tomorrow? The simplest tense is the present. Which of these sentences expresses an action in the present? The first one. What is the difference in the second verb that shows past action? ED was added, right? What is wrong with this sentence? We're talking about past years, so imports should be in the past. Imported. The third verb form is the past with helper. What verb have we added to wanted? Have. Here are other examples of the past with helper form. So we have the present, the past, and the past with helper. From these three forms, you can construct different tenses.
A raise, huh?
Yes, well, I've been here nearly 2 years.
Seems like only yesterday you showed up here.
Okay, lady. Age?
I come into the world 22 years ago.
Came into the world, lady. I come, I came, I have come into the world.
Oh, well, I be 22.
I am 22.
I am 22. And I gone to school.
Went to school.
Went to a good school. And make good grades.
Made good grades.
Yes, I did that. And you should know, I never drinked too much.
Have drunk too much. I drink, I drank, I have drunk too much.
Oh, you should be ashamed. Anyway, I seen this job advertised.
I saw the job advertised.
And I think, well, I think that this would be a good job for me.
You think, you thought, you have thought wrong for now, my dear.
I liked your style. If I hadn't intervened...
I might have been on the next plane back home. But about that raise.
Let me call personnel.
Up until this point, we've only talked about verbs that form their past tenses with ed or d. But what is wrong with this? I thinked hard before making my decision. Or this one, I seen a play last night. The past tense of verbs like think and see, and about 60 others in our language, are formed irregularly. That is, you actually change their spelling instead of adding ed. They call these irregular verbs. I thought hard before making my decision. I saw a play last night. If you're not familiar with the way to form irregular verbs, you should study the list in your workbook. The most common irregular verbs are there, and you have to memorize them and practice using them correctly.
Jeepers, these clocks are haywire.
Freddie? Have you seen Mrs. Johnson anywhere? She's trying to get me a raise, you know.
Oh, that's great. I seen her come through here on her way to the time clock about 5 minutes ago.
No, not. I seen her, Freddie. I saw her. You have to use the helping verb with seem.
My, we are becoming quite the grammarian. I see. I've seen. You come a long way since you got off that plane.
Yeah, I'll be here 2 years next month.
I will have been here 2 years, Sonia.
Oh, show off.
Why do you say will have been?
Because I'm talking about something that will have been completed at some specific point in the future.
Speaking of the future, these clocks say it's lunchtime, you know, and I brung my lunch, and I feel like I just ate.
You should say, I brought my lunch, and I have just eaten. I eat, I ate, I have eaten. Eaten is the past with helper form.
Well, look at this clock. It says it's lunchtime again.
Oh, good. I'm hungry.
When you're deciding what form of the verb to use in your writing, the most important thing to consider is the time element, or tense. For instance, why doesn't this sentence make sense? Yesterday, I prepared the food for the party. The word yesterday should signal to you that the action took place in the past, right? So you should use the past tense of prepare, which is prepared. Now, see what is happening in this sentence. Last week, I brung everyone from work back to my house. In the past, the irregular verb bring becomes brought, right? Those sentences were in the simple past tense, but we can use a past with helper form to better clarify the meaning of some sentences. How might we improve on this sentence? When we arrived, the store was open for 2 hours. When you're writing about two past events and placing one event before the other, use the helping verb had. When we arrived, the store had been open for 2 hours. How would you change this sentence in a similar way? By the time he smelled the fire, the building burned to the ground. Remember, the helping verb had places one past event before another. By the time he smelled the fire, the building had burned to the ground. But what if the building were continuing to burn? Adding ing to a verb indicates continuous action. When he smelled the fire, the building had been burning for an hour. Now, what is wrong with this sentence? The building had been burning for an hour, said a fireman as he battled the blaze. It should read, has been burning, because if the fireman is battling the blaze, it must be continuing to burn in the present. When you add has or have to a verb, it usually indicates a present situation which results from something that began or happened in the past. I'll give you some examples. I typed papers, but I have typed papers often. You see the difference? Adding have implies that I started typing a while back, but continue to do so. Now, which helping verb would you use in this sentence? Years before Columbus discovered America, Vikings have or had landed in the New World. Here you have two events taking place in the past, right? Columbus discovering America and the Vikings landing. So remember, had places one past action before another past action. How would you correct this sentence? In the 1930s, hunger became familiar to many, but for decades before the Depression, there have been hungry Americans. We're talking about 2 points in the past, right? The Depression and decades before the Depression. So the sentence should read, there had been hungry Americans. Now, let's consider the future tenses. To put any verb into the future tense, you just add the helping verbs will or shall. For instance, tomorrow I will work. Next week, I will leave. Now, look at this sentence very carefully and determine what's missing. I have left the farm by the time you arrive. The time you arrive is in the future, right? So to make sense, the sentence should read, I will have left the farm by the time you arrive. Whenever you have will have plus a verb, you're describing an action that will have been completed at some specific point in the future.
Well, here it is. The letter to the store manager asking for a raise.
Good. I think he'll appreciate your effort. Now let's look at it. Remember how important it is to check your writing.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to look for?
Well, correct spelling.
Right.
Punctuation.
Yes.
Nouns.
Uh-huh.
Verbs.
Dear Mr. Lacey, is this a formal letter?
Oh, yes.
What punctuation follows the greeting in a formal letter?
I know. A colon.
Right. Let's look at your first sentence.
Okay. In October, sir.
October is the name of a month, right?
Oh, yes, I should capitalize it. In October, sir. My voice seemed to pause.
Remember, when you directly address someone in your writing?
I need to set it off with commas.
Right.
It's like I can hook it, you know, lift it out without changing the meaning of the sentence.
Good. Now look at the verb.
All right. In October, sir, I worked here 2 years. So?
That's an action that will be completed in the future. So you need the will have been verb construction.
So it should be, in October, sir, I will have been working here for 2 years.
Right. Now look at your next sentence. When I begun this job.
I know. It's begin, began, have begun. So I should say when I began this job.
And when you describe something that happened before something else in a sentence, use the helping verb had.
Okay, so I should say, when I began this job, I had just arrived from Europe, my homeland. Oh, I remember. I need a comma after the introductory clause, when I began this job. And I need to hook my homeland because it just restates what Europe is.
Very good. Now the next paragraph. I like my job very much. That's okay. I worked hard. Did you stop?
No.
Well, you need to say, I have worked hard.
Ah.
And do you mean you will be staying in the future?
Oh, yes. So I should use the future tense.
Right.
I will stay with your store.
The word but is a connecting word, Sonia.
Oh, right. I need a comma, not a period, and a small b, right?
Right. Check the spelling of the word salary.
Salary?
Mm-hmm.
Sarcastic. Sandhill. Salvation. Salad. Salamander. Salary. S-A-L-A-R-Y. Uh-oh, sorry. How's that?
I think you can print your letter and send it now.
Oh, great. Arthur, I have wonderful news.
What is it, Sonia?
You are never, ever, ever going to believe this. I'm so excited. They raised my salary.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. But, what about your chapter? Tell me how it's going.
Great. I'm about to finish verbs. If you'll stick around, we'll take this chapter to Mr. Edwards and go out and celebrate.
Oh, I'd like that.
Oh, I'm on some tough verbs, ones that are often confused and misused. Sit and set, lie and lay, rise and raise.
Oh, let me sit down.
No, stop.
What?
Never sit down in a chair, Sonia. Sit down. Sit means being in a certain position. You sit in a chair. Now, to set means to put or place something. Here, set this book on the table. It's the same for the verb lay. Please lay the book on the table. The verb forms of lay mean to put or place something. You laid the book down. I have laid the book down. But, the book lies on the table. The verb forms of lie mean being in a position, resting or reclining. The biggest problem occurs with these two verbs because the past tense of the verb lie is the word lay, as in snow lay on the ground yesterday. The snow was on the ground. It's confusing?
It certainly is.
The best thing to do is read your workbook and practice the exercises.
Thank you, Brenda. Brenda, come back here.
What's the matter?
You misused 3 different verbs.
Oops.
Look at this sentence. Unless Chapter 3 sets on my desk by Friday, Mr. Edwards will cancel your contract. When you're describing a position and the verb doesn't take an object, you use sit.
Okie dokie.
Then look what you did. You must lie it on my desk by 12 noon. You're using lie as an action verb, which is wrong. It lies on the desk, but Arthur will lay it there.
Picky, picky.
Somebody wasn't picky when they hired you. Look, you use the words raise and rise in this sentence. Arthur, you must raise to the occasion and finish your manuscript, or Mr. Edwards will rise the roof. You raise something, but rise describes a position.
So it should be, you must rise to the occasion or Mr. Edwards will raise the roof.
Arthur, what is this on the VDT?
I'm on the phone to Mr. Edwards' secretary, Sonia. It's a practice paragraph. I'll be with you in a second. Why don't you try to work it?
All right. When it's No, that's not right. Began to thunder. He was not sitting peacefully in his chair. When it began to thunder. That's an introductory clause. There needs to be a comma after thunder. When it began to thunder, he was sitting peacefully in his chair. Right. He saw it was going to storm, and he walked over to close the windows he had raised earlier. He wondered if he had, brought in the newspaper because he knew it would be raining soon. I guess that's it. No, wait. Because is a connecting word. It can't be used to start a sentence. There should be a comma after newspaper, and I need to change the capital letter in because. Arthur!
Yes?
Oh, Arthur, look and see what I've done.
Sonia, you're just getting better and better.
I know.
Come on, let's go get this down to Mr. Edwards' office. Well, here it is, Nouns and Verbs.
Thanks, honey.
When will Mr. Edwards get a chance to see it?
When he gets back from vacation in the Bahamas.
Vacation.
Bahamas? Which word didn't you understand?
Word?
Vacation or Bahamas?
Local funding for GED on TV has been provided through a grant from the employees of DLH Industries, manufacturers of fluid.